Is this the best of all possible worlds? A deep dive into Voltaire's Candide. Imagine living in a world where everything seems perfect. No pain, no suffering, and no injustice. Now imagine that world falling apart, piece by piece. Earthquakes destroy cities, wars ravage lands, and people betray one another. Could you still believe that this is the best of all possible worlds? Welcome to Candide, a tale by Francois Voltaire that challenges us to confront life's deepest questions with wit, humor, and profound insight. Through this timeless masterpiece, Voltaire dares us to examine the philosophy of optimism and its relevance to the chaotic world we live in today. To fully appreciate Candide, we must first understand its creator. Francois Voltaire, born in 1694 in France, was one of the Enlightenment's most influential thinkers. The Enlightenment, or the Age of Reason, was a time when intellectuals began questioning traditional authority, advocating for reason, science, and humanism. Voltaire's life was anything but ordinary. As a young man, his sharp wit often landed him in trouble with authorities. He was imprisoned in the Bastille and later exiled to England, where he encountered new ideas about politics, religion, and freedom. These experiences shaped his critical outlook on society. By the mid-18th century, Europe was riddled with conflict, inequality, and natural disasters. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake, one of the deadliest in history, killed tens of thousands and left survivors questioning the role of God in such tragedies. Voltaire was deeply affected by this event and saw it as a direct challenge to the optimism of the time, particularly the ideas of the German philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Leibniz believed that the world we live in is the best of all possible worlds, as it was created by a perfect and benevolent God. Voltaire found this idea naive and dangerous, as it ignored the harsh realities of life. His response? Candide. Before diving into the story, let's unpack the philosophy Voltaire critiques in Candide. Optimism, as proposed by Leibniz, rests on three main ideas. 1. God is omnipotent, all-powerful. 2. God is omniscient, all-knowing. 3. God is omnibenevolent, all-good. From these premises, Leibniz concluded that God created the best possible world. Even suffering, according to this view, has a purpose in the grand design of the universe. For example, earthquakes might be necessary to maintain the planet's stability. War might bring peace in the long run. But Voltaire argued that this perspective not only failed to address the true nature of suffering, but also discouraged human beings from taking action to improve their circumstances. This is where Candide becomes a satirical battlefield for ideas. The story begins in Westphalia, Germany, where Candide, a young and naive man, lives in a castle under the tutelage of Pangloss, a philosopher who preaches Leibnizian optimism. Pangloss famously declares, "This is the best of all possible worlds." Candide falls in love with Cunegonde, the daughter of the Baron, but their romance is discovered, and he is banished from the castle. Thus begins Candide's journey, a whirlwind of disasters, betrayals, and unexpected encounters. Some key events in the story include 1. The horrors of war. Candide is conscripted into an army and witnesses the brutality of conflict, challenging Pangloss's belief that all is for the best. 2. The Lisbon earthquake. Candide and Pangloss arrive in Lisbon, only to experience a devastating earthquake. Pangloss's attempts to rationalize the disaster highlight the absurdity of blind optimism. 3. Cunegonde's fate. Candide reunites with Cunegonde, only to discover that she has been enslaved and exploited. 4. The utopia of El Dorado. Candide visits this mythical land, where there is no greed, suffering, or injustice. However, he soon realizes that even paradise cannot satisfy human desires. Through these adventures, Candide meets various characters who represent different worldviews, including Martin, a pessimist who sees life as inherently filled with evil. Cacambo, a practical and resourceful companion who focuses on survival rather than philosophy. Voltaire's Candide is much more than a story. It's a philosophical commentary on the human condition. Let's explore its key themes. 1. The fallacy of optimism. Voltaire ridicules the idea that suffering is part of a divine plan. Through Pangloss's absurd justifications, he shows how blind optimism can prevent people from addressing real problems. 2. The reality of suffering. War, natural disasters, and human cruelty are depicted in stark detail. Voltaire doesn't shy away from showing the harshness of life, forcing readers to confront uncomfortable truths. 3. The importance of action. The book's famous conclusion, "We must cultivate our garden," emphasizes the value of practical action over abstract philosophy. Instead of debating the nature of evil, Candide learns to focus on improving his immediate surroundings. 4. Satire of religion and authority. Voltaire critiques the hypocrisy of religious leaders and the corruption of political systems, pointing out how they often perpetuate suffering rather than alleviate it. Here are 15 thought-provoking quotes from Candide that capture its essence. 1. This is the best of all possible worlds. 2. If this is the best of all possible worlds, what are the others like? 3. All is for the best in the best of all possible worlds. 4. We must cultivate our garden. 5. It is demonstrable that things cannot be otherwise than as they are. 6. Man was not born to be idle. 7. The earth is cursed, and all who live upon it must carry the burden of suffering. 8. Private misfortunes contribute to the general good, so that the more private misfortunes there are, the better everything is. 9. We do not live in a world where everything is for the best. 10. Optimism is the madness of insisting that all is well when we are miserable. 11. Let us work without reasoning. It is the only way to make life bearable. 12. Men must have corrupted nature a little, for they were not born wolves, and they have become wolves. 13. To hold a pen is to be at war. 14. We live in a world where fools triumph and wise men are mocked. 15. Each of us must use what little resources we have to make our lives meaningful. Though written over 250 years ago, Candide remains relevant because the questions it raises are timeless. Why do bad things happen to good people? Can we improve the world, or must we accept it as it is? How should we respond to suffering, with action, resignation, or something else? In a world still grappling with war, inequality, and environmental crises, Voltaire's call to cultivate our garden serves as a reminder to focus on what we can change, no matter how small. Voltaire's Candide challenges us to think critically, act meaningfully, and confront life's difficulties with courage and humor. So what do you think? Is this the best of all possible worlds, or can we cultivate something better? For more philosophical explorations and thought-provoking content, don't forget to subscribe to FactUp Realm. Together, let's question, learn, and grow.